I always thought my life was simple. Good job, good friends, good marriage. I used to say it out loud, like a mantra. I'm a lucky man. Jessica would laugh and roll her eyes. You're just easy to please, Ethan. Maybe I was. Ryan was my best friend since college. He was the kind of guy who made everyone feel like they belonged. He'd show up with pizza and bad jokes, and suddenly the worst day felt lighter. Jessica loved him too. She called him our third wheel, but I never minded. I trusted them both. Friday nights were our tradition. Movie marathons, popcorn, and inside jokes. Jessica would curl up next to me on the couch. Ryan sprawled on the floor. We'd argue about which movie to watch, and Jessica always won. She'd nudge me, let Ryan pick next time. I'd grin, he'll just pick something terrible. Ryan would throw popcorn at me. You have no taste, Miller. Those nights felt perfect. I thought they'd last forever. But things started to change. Jessica got quiet. She'd stare at her phone, lost in thought. I'd ask, everything okay? She'd force a smile. Just tired. Ryan started coming over more, even when I wasn't home. I'd walk in and find them laughing in the kitchen. What's so funny? I'd ask. Jessica would say, just something stupid. Ryan would shrug, inside joke, man. I tried to ignore it. I told myself I was overthinking. My mom always said, don't borrow trouble, Ethan. Trust is everything. I trusted Jessica. I trusted Ryan. I trusted too much. One night, I got off work early. I wanted to surprise Jessica with her favorite takeout. I parked outside and saw Ryan's car in the driveway. I smiled. Guess it's movie night again. I walked in quietly, hoping to catch them mid-argument about snacks. I heard laughter from the living room. Jessica's laugh, high and bright. Ryan's voice, softer. I stepped closer. Jessica said, you always know what to say. Ryan replied, you make it easy. I froze in the hallway. My heart pounded. I peeked around the corner. Jessica was on the couch, her hand on Ryan's knee. He leaned in, too close. She didn't pull away. I dropped the takeout bag. The sound made them jump. Jessica's eyes went wide. Ethan Ryan stood up fast. Man, this isn't I. Stared at them. What the hell is going on? Jessica pulled her hand back. It's not what it looks like. Ryan shook his head. We were just talking. I laughed, but it sounded wrong. Just talking. That's what this is. Jessica's voice shook. Please, Ethan, let me explain. I looked at Ryan. You too, my best friend. He looked at the floor. I never meant for this to happen. I felt like I was underwater. Everything sounded far away. Jessica reached for me. Ethan, please. I stepped back. Don't. Ryan tried to speak. Ethan, I'm sorry. I swear. I cut him off. Save it. Jessica's eyes filled with tears. It was a mistake. I shook my head. A mistake. How long? She hesitated. A few weeks. Ryan said, it just happened, man. We didn't plan it. I laughed again, bitter this time. You didn't plan it. You just tripped and fell into my marriage. Jessica sobbed. I'm so sorry. I looked at them, my wife, my best friend. I felt nothing. Or maybe I felt everything at once. I turned to leave. Jessica called after me. Ethan, please, don't go. Ryan said, let's talk about this. I kept walking. I grabbed my keys and walked out the door. The night air hit me hard. I stood on the porch, shaking. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. Hope you're having a good night, sweetheart. Call me if you need anything. I almost laughed. I wanted to call her, to tell her she was right. Trust is everything. And I'd just lost mine. I walked down the street, not sure where I was going. My world had cracked open in a single moment. The perfect lie was over. I walked for hours. My mind kept replaying the scene, Jessica's hand on Ryan's knee, the way they both looked at me, caught and guilty. I tried to breathe, but every breath felt sharp. My phone buzzed again. Jessica. I let it ring. Then Ryan. I turned my phone off. I ended up at a 24-hour diner. I sat in a booth, staring at the menu, but not reading it. The waitress came over. Coffee. I nodded. She poured a cup and left me alone. I stared at my reflection in the window. I looked like a stranger. I whispered, "How did I not see it?" My mom's voice echoed in my head. "Don't trust too easily, Ethan. People can surprise you." I always thought she was too careful. Now I wished I'd listened. I pulled out my phone and turned it back on. 20 missed calls. 10 texts from Jessica. 5 from Ryan. I scrolled through them, but I couldn't bring myself to read a single word. I called my mom. She answered on the first ring. "Ethan, it's late. Are you okay?" I tried to speak, but my voice broke. "Mom, I need you." She didn't ask questions. "Come home, honey. I'll make up the guest room." I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. "I'll be there soon." I left cash on the table and walked out. The city felt empty. Every light looked harsh. I drove to my mom's house, hands shaking on the wheel. She opened the door before I knocked. She pulled me into a hug. "Whatever it is, we'll get through it." I broke down. I hadn't cried in years, but I couldn't stop. She just held me. When I finally calmed down, she made tea. We sat at the kitchen table. She waited. I stared at my hands. Jessica and Ryan. I caught them together. She didn't look surprised. "I'm sorry, Ethan." I shook my head. How did I not see it? She reached across the table. "You trusted them. That's not a weakness." I wiped my eyes. "It feels like one." She squeezed my hand. "You're not alone. You have me. You have people who care." I nodded. "I just feel stupid." Mom shook her head. "You're not stupid. You're hurt. There's a difference." I took a shaky breath. "What do I do now?" She sighed. "You take it one day at a time. You don't have to decide everything tonight." I nodded again. I can't go back there." She stood up. "You don't have to. Stay here as long as you need." I looked at her. "Thanks, Mom." She smiled. "That's what I'm here for." I went to the guest room and lay on the bed. I stared at the ceiling, listening to the quiet. My mind raced with questions. How long had it been going on? Was it my fault? Did I push Jessica away? Did Ryan ever care about me at all? I closed my eyes, but sleep wouldn't come. The next morning, my mom made pancakes. She set a plate in front of me. "Eat. You need your strength." One managed a few bites. She sat across from me, reading the paper. She didn't push. She just let me be. My phone buzzed again. This time, I checked the messages. "Jessica, please talk to me. I'm so sorry. I need to explain." "Ryan, man, I messed up. Please let me fix this." I put the phone down. I wasn't ready. My mom looked up. "You don't have to answer them." I nodded. "I know." She folded her paper. "You're stronger than you think, Ethan." I wanted to believe her. Later, I sat on the porch, watching the sunrise. The world kept turning, even though mine had stopped. I thought about Emily, Ryan's wife. I wondered if she knew. I wondered if I should tell her. I thought about Jessica, about all the promises we made. I wondered if any of them were real. I thought about Ryan, my best friend. I wondered if I'd ever forgive him. I didn't have answers, just pain, but I was still here. And that had to be enough for now. The next day, Jessica sent me a long message. She begged to talk. I stared at my phone for a long time before I finally replied, "Fine." One conversation, public place. She picked a cafe downtown. I got there first and sat by the window. Mr. Harris, the owner, nodded at me. "Rough morning." I just nodded back. Jessica walked in, eyes red, hair pulled back like she hadn't slept. She sat across from me, hands shaking. "Thank you for meeting me," she said. I didn't answer. She looked down. "I know you hate me." I stared at her. "I don't even know what I feel." She took a deep breath. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I really am." I waited. She kept going. "I never wanted to hurt you. I felt so alone. You were always working. You barely looked at me anymore." I shook my head. "So you turned to Ryan." She flinched. It wasn't planned. It just happened. He listened. He understood me. I leaned forward. "He's my best friend. You could have talked to me." She wiped her eyes. I tried, but you were always tired. Always distracted. I felt invisible. I clenched my fists. So you made yourself visible to him. She looked away. I'm not proud of it. I stared at her. How long? She hesitated. A few weeks, maybe a month. I let out a bitter laugh. A month, that's all it took to throw away everything. She shook her head. It wasn't like that. I was lonely. I made a mistake. I looked at her. You made a choice. She started to cry. I know. I know I did. I wish I could take it back. I stayed silent. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. She whispered, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I looked out the window. Are you sorry for what you did, or just sorry you got caught? She didn't answer. I turned back to her. You want me to forgive you? She nodded, desperate. I want to fix this. I want us back. I shook my head. You broke something I can't fix. She wiped her face. I don't know who I am anymore. I stood up. Neither do I. She looked up at me, pleading. Ethan, please. I shook my head. I can't do this. She started to sob. Mr. Harris glanced over, but I just walked out. Outside, the air felt cold. I took a deep breath and kept walking. My phone buzzed. A message from Jessica's sister, Megan. She's a mess, Ethan. She knows she screwed up. Please talk to her. I turned off my phone. I kept walking, trying to leave the pain behind. But it followed me, every step. Ryan texted me the next morning. Please, man, just talk to me. I need to explain. I ignored him at first, but the messages kept coming. I'm outside. I'll wait as long as it takes. I finally walked out. He was leaning against his car, looking like he hadn't slept either. He straightened up. Ethan, please, just 5 minutes. I crossed my arms. Say what you need to say. He looked down. I messed up. I know I did. I never wanted this to happen. I stared at him. You never wanted it, but you kept coming over. You kept lying to my face. He shook his head. It started small. We were just talking. You were busy, and Jessica was lonely. I thought I was helping. I laughed. Bitter. Helping. That's what you call it. He winced. I know how it sounds. But I swear, I never planned for it to go that far. I stepped closer. So what happened, Ryan? Did you just wake up one day and decide to betray your best friend? He looked away. We were drinking. One night things got blurry. She kissed me. I should have stopped it. I didn't. I clenched my jaw, and after that, he swallowed. We tried to stop. We said it was a mistake. But it kept happening. I was weak. I'm sorry. I shook my head. You're married, Ryan. What about Emily? He closed his eyes. I know. I ruined everything. Emily doesn't know. Not yet. I stared at him. You need to tell her. She deserves the truth. He nodded, voice shaking. I will. I promise. I looked at him. Really looked at him. He seemed smaller than I remembered. Broken, he said. I wish I could take it back. I wish I could fix it. I sighed. You can't. Neither can I. He wiped his face. I miss our friendship, man. I miss how things used to be. I shook my head. You killed that, you and Jessica both. He nodded, defeated. I know. I'm sorry. I turned to leave, but he called after me. Ethan, please. I need you to believe me. I never meant to hurt you. I stopped. Intentions don't matter. Actions do. He stood there, silent. I walked away, feeling both lighter and heavier at the same time. My phone buzzed. A message from Luke, Ryan's younger brother. He's a mess, Ethan. I always looked up to you. I'm sorry this happened. I sat on the curb, staring at the sky. I thought about Emily, about all the people hurt by this. I realized Ryan wasn't the strong friend I thought he was. He was just a man who made weak choices. And now, we all had to live with them. I walked back into the house, not sure what I was looking for. Jessica was sitting on the stairs, eyes swollen. She stood up when she saw me. Ethan, please, can we talk? I shook my head. I'm just here to get my things. She followed me to the bedroom. You don't have to leave. We can work through this. I started pulling clothes from the closet. There's nothing left to work through. She reached for my arm. "Don't do this, please." I pulled away. "You made your choice, Jessica. Now I'm making mine." She started to cry. "I know I hurt you. I know I ruined everything. But I still love you." I stopped packing for a second. "Love isn't supposed to feel like this." She wiped her face. "I'm sorry. I wish I could take it all back." I shook my head. "You can't." I found an old photo album on the shelf. I flipped through it. Wedding pictures, vacations, birthdays. All those smiles felt fake now. Jessica sat on the bed, watching me. "Do you remember our first trip to the lake?" I closed the album. "Yeah. I remember thinking I'd never be happier." She whispered, "Me too." I put the album in the box. "I'm calling Emily." Jessica's eyes widened. "Why?" "She deserves to know the truth." She started to protest, but I ignored her. I stepped outside and dialed Emily's number. She answered on the second ring. "Hey, Ethan, is everything okay?" I took a deep breath. "No, I need to tell you something. It's about Ryan and Jessica." There was a long pause. "What happened?" I told her everything. The late nights, the lies, what I saw. She didn't cry. She just listened. When I finished, she said, "Thank you for telling me. I had a feeling something was wrong. I just didn't want to believe it." "I'm sorry, Emily." She sighed. "It's not your fault. I appreciate your honesty." We hung up. I stood in the driveway, feeling empty. Mr. Thompson, my neighbor, walked over. "You moving out, Ethan?" I nodded. "Yeah. Just need a fresh start." He put a hand on my shoulder. "If you need anything, you know where I am." "Thanks, Mr. Thompson." I went back inside. Jessica was still sitting on the bed, hugging her knees. I grabbed my boxers. "I'll come back for the rest later." She looked up. "Is this really it?" I nodded. "Yeah, it is." She started to cry again, but I walked out. As I loaded my car, I looked at the house one last time. It didn't feel like home anymore. I drove away, not sure where I was going, but knowing I couldn't stay. I stayed at my mom's house for a few days. She didn't ask questions. She just made sure I ate and slept. I spent most of my time staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of everything. On the third day, my phone rang. It was Emily. "Ethan, can we talk?" "Of course. Are you okay?" She sounded tired. "Not really." I confronted Ryan. He admitted everything. I closed my eyes. "I'm sorry, Emily." She sighed. "I'm leaving him." I packed a bag and went to my brother's place. "You deserve better," I said. She was quiet for a moment. "Thank you for telling me the truth. I know it wasn't easy. It was the right thing to do." After we hung up, I sat in silence. I wondered if Jessica was facing the same storm. Later that day, my mom came into my room. "Jessica's parents called. They want to talk to you." I shook my head. "I have nothing to say to them." She nodded. "They're upset," they said. "Jessica's been crying nonstop." I almost felt sorry for her. Almost at evening, I got a call from an unknown number. I answered, and a man's voice came through. "This is David, Emily's brother. I just want you to know, Ryan's not welcome here. If he tries to contact Emily, I'll handle it." I said, "Thank you for looking out for her." He grunted. "You did the right thing, Ethan. Take care of yourself." Word spread fast. By the end of the week, everyone in our circle knew. Friends stopped calling Jessica and Ryan. Social media went quiet. I watched from a distance as their lives unraveled. Jessica texted me late one night, "I'm so sorry. My parents are furious. I lost my job. I don't know what to do." I didn't reply. Ryan tried to. "Man, I know I messed up. Emily's gone. I lost everything. Please, just talk to me." I turned off my phone. The next morning, my mom made pancakes. She sat across from me watching. "You look lighter," she said. I shrugged. "I don't know if I feel lighter, just empty." She smiled gently. "Sometimes, emptiness is the first step to healing." I nodded. "I hope so." Later, I went for a walk. I passed by the park where Jessica and I used to go. I saw her sitting alone on a bench, staring at her phone. She looked up and saw me. She stood, but I kept walking. She called after me, "Ethan, please." I didn't stop. That night I got a message from Megan, Jessica's sister. "She's a mess, Ethan. She knows she lost you. She lost everything." I put my phone away. I started to realize that justice doesn't always look like revenge. Sometimes, it's just letting people face the consequences of their own choices. A few days later, I ran into Mark, an old friend from college. He clapped me on the back. "Heard about what happened? You holding up?" I nodded, trying to. He grinned. "You always were the strong one. Don't let this break you." I smiled for the first time in weeks. "Thanks, Mark." He handed me his number. "Call me if you want to grab a drink, or just talk." I pocketed the number. "I might take you up on that." That night, I sat on the porch with my mom. She handed me a cup of tea. "You did the right thing, Ethan, even when it hurt." I looked at her. "It still hurts." She nodded. "It will. But it won't hurt forever." I sipped my tea and watched the stars. For the first time, I felt a small spark of hope. Maybe karma was real. Maybe people really do get what they deserve. And maybe, just maybe, I could start over. I started to rebuild my life, one small step at a time. My mom's house became my safe place. She never pushed, just let me be. Some days I barely spoke. Other days, I found myself talking more than I had in years. One morning, she set a mug of coffee in front of me. "You should think about seeing someone, a therapist maybe." I nodded. "Yeah, I think I will." She smiled. "Good. You're not alone, Ethan." I called Dr. Grace Bennett that afternoon. Her voice was calm, steady. "I can see you next week. We'll take it slow." I thanked her. For the first time, I felt like maybe I could breathe again. I started running in the mornings. The air was cold, but it cleared my head. I ran past the old school, the park, the places I used to go with Jessica. The memories hurt, but less each day. Mark texted me, "Still up for that drink?" I replied, "Yeah, let's do it." We met at a bar downtown. He raised his glass. 2 new beginnings. I clinked mine against his. 2 surviving. He grinned. "You're doing better than you think." I shrugged. "Some days are easier than others." He nodded. "That's how it goes." We talked for hours. I told him about therapy, about running, about helping Luke with his college applications. Mark laughed. "You always were the responsible one." I smiled. "I'm just trying to keep moving." Back at home, I found a message from Jessica. "I miss you. I wish things were different." I deleted it without reading the rest. Ryan tried to. "I'm sorry, man. I know I can't fix it, but I wish I could." I blocked his number. I focused on the things I could control. I helped Luke with his essays. He looked up to me, even now. One evening, he came over with a stack of books. "Can you help me with this?" I nodded. "Of course." He sat at the kitchen table, nervous. "I heard about what happened. I'm sorry, Ethan." I put a hand on his shoulder. "It's not your fault. You're a good kid, Luke." He smiled, relieved. "Thanks. I always thought you and Ryan were unbreakable." I shook my head. "Nothing is unbreakable, but you learn, you grow." He nodded. "I want to be better than that." "You will be," I said. Therapy helped. Dr. Bennett listened without judgment. She asked questions that made me think. "What do you want, Ethan?" I thought about it. "I want to feel like myself again." She smiled. "You're getting there." I started looking for a new job. I updated my resume, sent out applications. I got an interview at a small marketing firm. The manager, Sophie, was kind. She asked about my experience, my goals. At the end, she smiled. "You seem like someone who's been through a lot. That can be a strength." I left the interview feeling hopeful. That night, my mom made my favorite dinner. She sat across from me, watching. "You look lighter," she said. I nodded. "I think I am." She smiled. "I'm proud of you." I went to bed early, feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. The next morning, I got a call from the marketing firm. I got the job. I called Mark. "I got it." He cheered. "Knew you would." I texted Luke. Got the job. Let's celebrate after your finals. He replied with a string of emojis. I sat on the porch, watching the sunrise. For the first time, I felt like I was in control again. Jessica and Ryan were still out there, living with their choices, but I was moving forward. And that was enough. A letter arrived in the mail with Jessica's handwriting on the envelope. I almost threw it away, but curiosity won. Inside, her words spilled across the page. Ethan, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I lost everything: my marriage, my friends, my job. I wish I could go back and undo it all. I miss you every day. I hope you find happiness, even if it's not with me. Jessica. I read it twice, then set it aside. I didn't feel anger. Just a strange, quiet sadness. Later that day, Ryan texted again. Can we meet? Just once. I need to say this to your face. I stared at the message for a long time. My thumb hovered over the reply button, but I didn't answer. He called. I let it ring. He left a voicemail. Ethan, I know I can't fix what I did. I just want you to know I'm sorry. I lost Emily. I lost you. I lost myself. I deleted the message. That evening, I sat with my mom on the porch. She sipped her tea and watched the sky. She said, You look tired. I nodded. I am. But it's a different kind of tired. She smiled. You're healing. I thought about everything I'd lost. My marriage, my best friend, the life I thought I had. But I also thought about what I'd gained: honesty, strength, a sense of who I really was. I told my mom, I don't hate them anymore. I just don't want them in my life. She nodded. That's forgiveness, Ethan. It's not about forgetting. It's about letting go. I looked at the letter from Jessica one last time, then put it away in a drawer. I realized I didn't need answers from her or Ryan. I didn't need apologies. I just needed to move forward. That night, I wrote a note to myself. You survived. You're stronger than you think. Keep going. I put it on my nightstand. For the first time in a long time, I slept through the night. I went back to the old apartment one last time. The place was empty, just bare walls and echoes. I walked through each room, remembering laughter, arguments, quiet mornings. It felt like another life. I left a letter for Jessica on the kitchen counter. I hope you find peace. I'm moving on. Please don't contact me again, Ethan. I locked the door behind me and dropped the keys in the landlord's mailbox. Mrs. Green, the landlord, was waiting outside. She smiled kindly. You were always a good tenant, Ethan. I'm sorry things ended this way. I nodded. Thank you, Mrs. Green, for everything. She handed me an envelope. Your deposit, and a little extra. You deserve a fresh start. I thanked her and walked away feeling lighter. Later that day, I met Emily for coffee. She looked tired, but determined. She smiled when she saw me. Hey, Ethan. Hey, Emily. How are you holding up? She shrugged. Some days are better than others. I moved in with my brother for now. I nodded. I'm glad you have family. She sipped her coffee. I wanted to thank you for telling me the truth, for not hiding it. I looked down. I wish it hadn't happened at all. She shook her head. We can't change what they did, but we can decide what we do next. I smiled. Yeah, I guess we can. We talked for a while about work, about family, about starting over. It felt good to talk to someone who understood. Emily said, Do you think you'll ever forgive them? I thought about it. Maybe, but I don't need to. I just need to let go. She nodded. Me too. We finished our coffee and stood up. She hugged me. Take care of yourself, Ethan. You too, Emily. As I walked home, I felt a sense of closure. The pain was still there, but it didn't control me anymore. I was ready to start again. Months passed. I found a small apartment on the other side of town. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I painted the walls, bought a new couch, and filled the fridge with food I actually liked. For the first time in a long time, I felt in control. My mom visited every Sunday. She'd bring homemade bread and fresh flowers. She'd look around and smile. You're doing well, Ethan. I can see it in your eyes. I'd laugh. I'm trying, Mom. One day at a time. She'd squeeze my hand. That's all anyone can do. I started my new job at the marketing firm. Sophie, my manager, was patient and encouraging. On my first day, she stopped by my desk. "How's it going?" I smiled. "Honestly, I'm a little nervous." She nodded. "That's normal. You'll fit in here. Just be yourself." I thanked her. I worked hard, stayed late, and learned fast. The team was friendly. Mark would text me after work, "Drinks tonight?" Sometimes I'd say yes. Sometimes I'd just go home and read. I liked the quiet. One Friday, Sophie invited me to a team dinner. I almost said no, but something in me wanted to try. I sat next to her at the restaurant. She asked about my life, my family, my favorite movies. I told her, "I'm still figuring things out." She smiled. "Aren't we all?" We laughed. The night felt easy. After dinner, we walked outside. She looked up at the sky. "You know, I moved here after a bad breakup. I thought I'd never feel normal again." I nodded. "I know the feeling." She looked at me. "You seem strong." I shrugged. "I had to be." She smiled. "Well, I'm glad you're here." I walked home that night feeling lighter. The next morning I called my mom. "I think I'm finally okay." She sounded happy. "I knew you would be. You just needed time." I started running again, not to escape, but because I liked the way it made me feel. I helped Luke with his college essays. He got accepted to his top school. He called me, voice shaking with excitement. "Thank you, Ethan. I couldn't have done it without you." I grinned. "You did the work, Luke. I just cheered you on." He laughed. "Still, you're the best." I hung up, feeling proud. One afternoon, I got a letter from Jessica. I almost didn't open it, but curiosity got the better of me. "Ethan, I hope you're well. I'm in therapy now. I'm trying to be better. I'm sorry for everything. I hope you find happiness. Jessica." I read it once, then put it away. I didn't feel anger or sadness, just acceptance. Ryan never reached out again. Emily sent a holiday card, wishing you peace and new beginnings. I put it on my fridge. Sophie and I started spending more time together. We went for walks, tried new restaurants, watched old movies. She never pushed. She just let things happen naturally. One evening, we sat on my couch, watching a comedy. She turned to me. "Do you ever think about the past?" I nodded. "Sometimes, but it doesn't hurt like it used to." She smiled. "That's good." I looked at her. "I'm not in a rush. I just want to enjoy this." She squeezed my hand. "Me too." I realized then that pain can be a teacher. It can break you, but it can also build you back up, stronger than before. I stood on my balcony that night, looking at the city lights. I thought about everything I'd lost, and everything I'd found. I whispered to myself, "I'm still here. I'm still standing." And for the first time, I believed it.